So, arpeggios. They're these little 3 and 4 note clusters that can be the difference between a guitar solo that sounds amazing and one that sounds like, well, you're just noodling around. It's all about targeting the right notes, and the good news is it's often less work than learning full scales because we're just working with a few key notes. Today, I'm showing you the first arpeggios that every beginning guitarist should learn because they're the glue that connects your solos directly to the chords being played. They're also a great way to synchronize your fretting and picking hands together. What is the origin of the word arpeggio? I've always known it as a broken chord, but I did a little digging and this is what I found. And like I said, the quick definition means broken chord. So we're taking a chord such as this G major chord and playing it one note at a time. So let's not get this confused with arpeggiating a chord, because when you're arpeggiating a chord, we're playing it one note at a time, but everything's ringing together. When you're playing an arpeggio, you've got things like this. Arpeggiating chords are great for rhythm playing, but when we're playing arpeggios, they lend themselves more to lead guitar solos and melodies. Arpeggios aren't some new scary thing to learn. They've been hiding in your chords this entire time. We're just going to be approaching the chords a little bit different now. It's not an advanced mystical concept. It's a foundational piece of the puzzle that's surprisingly easy to get up under your fingers. And hey, just so you can follow along, the link for the tabs in today's lesson are in the description below. Okay, you're probably thinking, man, I just spent the last 6 months learning all my pentatonic scale boxes. What good are arpeggios going to do me? Well, did you know that some of these arpeggios you're going to be working with are hidden inside those pentatonic scale shapes? Arpeggios are just another puzzle piece to add to your arsenal of guitar skills. Hey man, think of it like this. Playing one scale, say a G minor pentatonic over a G blues, is like being at a party and just shouting your favorite story over and over, no matter what conversation is happening around you. You're in key, but you're not really interacting with what's going on there. Playing arpeggios is like joining a conversation. When the band's playing a G7 chord, you're going to be playing notes from the G7 arpeggio. When they move over to a C7, you're going to play the notes from a C7 arpeggio. Your solo suddenly sounds like it's a duet with the chords that are being played, because you're highlighting the strong notes of those chords, the chord tones. This is what makes your solos sound intentional and professional. They sound like they belong to the song because you're weaving your melodies directly through the chords. I know it sounds complicated at first, but it's actually surprisingly easy. It just takes a little bit of repetition to get it going. All right, so let's build some of your first arpeggios here. We're going to begin with triads. So a triad is just a basic 3-note chord. We're not going to be repeating any notes. We're just going to be playing. We're going to work with G major to begin with. So we're going to play just G, B, and D. G, B, and D make up this chord, your G major, but you're repeating those notes more than once when you play this big cowboy chord. But when we play a triad, we're strictly just playing G, B, and D one time each. The bigger picture of what we're going to do here is, you recognize this bar chord? Major bar chord, playing it in G. We're going to find the triads inside of that bar chord. So this first one, G, B, and D on the E and A string. The next one is going to be an E-shaped triad. So you're going to take your E major shape that you play down here. It's right here at 5-5-4. So we're going to play 5A, 5D, and 4G. Our next one is an F-shaped triad. From down here, we're just moving it up to 5-4-3, 5D, 4G, and 3B. And then our last triad is going to be 4G, 3B, and 3 on the high E. So we're playing B, D, and G here. So let's cover those one more time. Okay, so there's your major, and let's move on to minor. To get these minor triads, all we're going to do is your B note in there, which is the major third in G major. We're going to flat that by a half step, so we're just going to drop that B to a B flat. So we're going to work here, 3E, 6 on the E string, and then 5 on the A string. And then our next one is going to be 5A, 5D, and 3G. After that, we're going to play 5D, 3G, and 3B. So we got, and then the very last one is going to be 3G, 3B, and 3E. So to cover those one more time. If you'll notice when I'm playing these, I'm playing each note with a different finger. You don't want to get into the habit, at least early on, of rolling into your notes with one finger, because sometimes those notes can bleed together if you don't execute the technique correctly. So if you use one finger for each note, you're less likely to run into that, because again, arpeggio, broken chords, so we want to keep those notes separated as much as possible. Okay, so now we've learned these smaller triad arpeggios. So you want to spend some time just playing those. Get used to rolling through those 3 notes, work on your alternate picking, work on just getting that right and left hand in sync. Work on your palm muting with it. When you get comfortable with that, we're going to move on to this. We're going to connect all those all the way across the strings. And we're going to add one additional note to it. We're going to play a G major 7, so we're going to add an F sharp to this. So that's our first move. 3E, 2-5 on A, 4-5 on D. 4G, 3B, 2-3 on high E. There's your G major 7 across all 6 strings. Okay, so now let's work on a G minor 7. So we're going to play 3-6 on E, 5A, 3-5 on D, 3G, 3B, 6B, 3 on the high E. We've covered the major 7 shape and the minor 7 shape. There's one more to learn. It's a diminished arpeggio. And we're going to play that right here. It's very similar to your minor. So we're going to play 3-6 on E, 4A, 3-5 D, 3-6 G, 6B, and 3 on the high E. You get used to playing these arpeggios, the major, the minor, and the diminished arpeggio, all in one position, and then you can move them up on the neck in the exercise that follows. Okay, so now you know the major, the minor, and the diminished arpeggios. We're going to play through those in the key of G major, so we're going to play through all the arpeggios that you find in the key of G major. Just a quick reminder, if you want to practice this without the support of the video, the tabs are in the description below. Okay, so now you can see your arpeggios in triad form. And you can see them moving all the way across the neck and then playing them diatonically all the way up the neck. So when you see the chord shape in the arpeggio as two sides of the same coin, you've unlocked a new level of fretboard fluency. It's like being able to see the matrix right there in front of you. So how does connecting these dots and playing broken chords actually make you sound like you know what you're doing? Using arpeggios has three benefits. It makes your solos more melodic, it opens up more of the fretboard to you, and it's a killer technique workout. For your melody and soloing, when you play an arpeggio over the matching chord, you are intentionally playing the strongest and most stable notes, the chord tones. This makes your solos sound incredibly melodic and purposeful. You also start seeing the neck not as a bunch of frets, but as a web of interconnected chord tones. This is the secret to navigating your fretboard smoothly. Practicing arpeggios is great for your technique, helping with your finger dexterity, your alternate picking, and your hand synchronization. Dude, when you put all this together, you're going to move from a person who happens to just play guitar into more of a musician. You're going to be jamming with confidence, writing better tunes, and feel like you're starting to get in charge of your fretboard. You're going to be burning through these things in no time. Arpeggios are very powerful tools. You're going to be adding melody to your solos, increasing that fretboard fluency, and adding precision to your fingers. So now that you know the secret, arpeggios are just the notes of a chord played one at a time. You've learned three different ones, major, minor, and diminished now. Put some practice time in, play over those chords over a backing track, and hear how those arpeggios actually sound like they're glued to the chord when you're playing those chord tones. It's going to feel clunky at first, but it's all about putting the repetitions in. Alright, now that you've learned your arpeggios, go to this video over here and learn a much easier way to learn all your scales. Alright guys, that's it for me. I'll see you next time.